The West Coast swing in the Wawa Cup Series comes to an end here today as we head to the desert in Arizona and the 1-mile Phoenix Raceway in the Castrol 500k. It's the 5th race of the season, but the first official short track of the season here in the 2023 Wawa Cup Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona for the 5th race of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series, the Castrol 500k. First time we've had a race here, if you're not counting the Sprint Series race that we did a couple days ago. First time we've had a race here in 2 years on the channel. Great to have this track back, but this is definitely one of the hardest places to make a pass. Of course, it is very possible we could see a pass for the race lead in this race. But it's a difficult one, and where you start means quite a bit, so those qualifying ratings may come into play quite a bit here today. Obviously, you see who's starting on the pole position, our Auto Club winner of Matt Tuck, but this is a 78-lap race, and a lot can happen between now and the finish, especially considering we have at least one cycle of pit stops in today's event. I'm joined alongside a couple of owners here in the Wawa Cup Series. Brennan Willington, the owner of Pacific Racing, and Derek Hamill, the owner of Hamill Racing Enterprises. And Brennan, I'll start with you first. This is a very difficult place to make a pass. If you're starting deeper in the field, what do you need to do to work your way up to the front and have an opportunity at the race victory?
The best way to gain positions on this racetrack, because it's so hard to do it on the track, is in the pit lane. I think the pit stops are going to be very important. And the pit strategy, timing, when you come down into the pit lane is also going to be incredibly important. There's a chance that this could be a one-stop or two-stop race. It's kind of in that gray area. But depending on what strategy you use, you can really move up in the field and hold that track position pretty well.
Absolutely. Of course, we're looking at a one-stop race if this race goes green, but if we get a caution at the right time, this could easily become a two-stop race, about a 38 to 42-lap fuel run, just past halfway, as it is for most of these races. And Derek, if we do go green the whole way through, which it is possible, we really don't know what we're going to see, what is the correct pit call here to get the race victory, especially if you're running up front when that green flag cycle occurs?
Well, if I'm the leader, right when people start coming in, I want to be the first driver in those pits. Try to beat everyone in there, beat everyone out. Simple as. Some people have success pitting later on, but I think pitting early on a track like ISM or Phoenix here is a choice.
We're just going to have to see how it all goes down. That might be the strategy call, especially considering we could see some tire wear in this race, though it's not one of the more tire wear heavy racetracks that we have on the schedule. Definitely want to get those fresh Goodyears, especially if this race stays green. In the point standings, the guy who starts on the pole for this race here today, and Matt Tuck, is your points leader after a great run at Las Vegas. Didn't quite get the race victory at Las Vegas, but he's had a great West Coast swing after winning Auto Club, finishing 5th last week. He's got a 2-point lead on Mr. Edge, Nicholas Samadillo, who comes in this race second in the point standings. Aliera, the winner of the 2 Florida races so far this season at Homestead and Daytona. She is 8 points behind. Seth Cole with a great season, 9 points behind. And then your driver, Echo Evans Ross Derek, 14 points behind coming into this event. Of course, still very early on in the season, but after this race, we'll be a 1/6 of the way through the entire season, and we'll actually be a 1/4 of the way through the regular season after this one here today. Starting on the pole position, like I mentioned, though, the number 54 of Matt Tuck going to lead us to the green flag alongside Christian Vargas there for Ryan Durrani Incorporated. Drew Webb has done an excellent job in these qualifying runs, but he has not been able to capitalize in any of these races yet this season. He's starting 3rd, though, to the inside of Brady Mardi Gras. We got Rogel Dorn and the Daytona 500 winner of Aliera in row number 3, Laura Chung, and your driver, Brennan, with Thomas Troxel there in row number 4, and then Braden Perez and Seth Cole there, rounding out the top 10 starting positions. We'll go ahead and let these guys roll off here, make sure everybody rolls off all right. Brennan and then Derek, who do you guys think is going to win here in the Castrol 500k at Phoenix?
I'm going to go with our pole sitter, Matt Tuck. He's already shown that he can win races, as he did at Auto Club, and I think starting up front at a track position, important track like this one, is going to be very key here today.
Sorry, I got confused.
It's alright, it happens to all of us.
Yeah, it's been a while. So I'm going to also go Matt Tuck. Kind of got my idea stolen by Brennan, but good buddy of mine, Matt Tuck, he can wheel one of these things around tracks, and starting on pole at Phoenix.
Already
Just
got
not the
one
best.
at the Auto Club Speedway earlier this season, 2 weeks ago, looking for a second win already on the season, and starting on the pole here is going to give him a great opportunity at doing so. Here we go. 78 laps of action here at the Phoenix Raceway. It's the last race of the West Coast Swing, and we're underway in the Castrol 500k. Well, lap 1 will go to Matt Tuck in the number 54. Bonus point towards the championship to him right there. And we're all tongue-tied here today at Phoenix. Let's get it out of our system. Drew Webb there to the inside of Christian Vargas. That is for the second position, and they are all over the place back in here. Christian Master, Laura Chung, Brady Mardi Gras, LJ Semedo in the middle of all that with Thomas Troxel, but they're keeping it together right now.
It is absolutely crazy. Several rows of 3 wide back there off the start. See the Pacific cars kind of stuck on the outside lane. You don't want to be on the outside lane for too much longer. You can kind of make it work in some areas of the track, but the inside lane is definitely preferred, especially in the corners. Oh, the 43 is going to slide up the track. They're going to be 4 wide.
4 wide here at Phoenix. Now, unlike past versions of this racetrack that we have used, mainly the 2011 version of this racetrack, they can do 4 wide and get away with it. They don't always get away with it, but most of the time they can get away with it, and they did right there. Aliera getting the best advantage of those drivers there in that situation as we head back up front. How about Drew Webb in this 99? Now, he started on the pole at Las Vegas last week and led the first 5 laps. We had a caution and then a terrible pit stop, and we never saw him again. This is a huge opportunity for Drew Webb to finally capitalize on a great starting position, and here he is, right on the back bumper of Matt Tuck, and now's the time to get that pass made, because the further we get him to a run, the more those tires wear out, and the harder it is to make a pass as the caution is out, and Trey Wright, Andrew Miller down the... Is it the back stretch, or is it the old front stretch? It's the old front stretch.
Well,
whatever it's
technically
called.
that's the backstretch now.
Yeah, it's now the backstretch, so... Miller and Trey Wright getting involved there. Fisher G with some damage. Chris Reynolds in the 18. Roberto Crown Jr. in the back of the field. And this makes things very interesting. I don't know if we're going to see anyone come down quite yet, because if they came down right here, it would still be one more stop for everybody. I don't think the pit lane was open last time they came around right there, so no one came in except the 4 drivers heavily involved in the accident. There are a couple more guys, actually, though, who are coming down. Daniel Paulus Jr. and Zachary Fitzwater, and they were not involved in the accident. At least I don't think they were, so they're coming down to get some service. But like I said, they are still going to have to come down again. Actually, Paulus Jr. has some damage in that 44 machine. Fitzwater looks like he topped off in the number 9 right there for Everbell Motorsports. Well, that might have been a good thing for Drew Webb if he wants to get this race lead, because it's difficult to do so once you've gone a few laps into the run here at the Phoenix Raceway. So we'll have to see how this restart goes when we get back after we review the accident here from the Phoenix Raceway and the Castrol 500k.
4 wide.
Yeah. As they're saying here, it's 5 wide here at Phoenix.
5.
Trey Wright kind of comes down on Daniel Paulus Jr., Fisher G, and Chris Reynolds. The top car came down on him. Now, he probably got spun there, but yeah, that's what happened there. And I think we ended up with a second accident that may have actually been completely separate from this, because I know Roberto Crown Jr., they got caught up in something as well. Right here, yeah.
They did that to himself.
Yeah.
Blaine Keys.
And Blaine Keys right behind them, and ugh. 2 separate incidents right there to bring out this caution here at the Phoenix Raceway. Of course, this here was not the reason for the caution. The backstretch accident obviously was, and we've determined that it's the backstretch. We've had a lot of discussions about that. But tough break for all those guys involved, especially this early on. Nathan Orman Motorsports there. Chris Reynolds and Andrew Miller are both going to get caught up in that one. Fisher G there. Trey Wright, tough break for Trinity River Racing. And then definitely a tough break for Roberto Crown Jr. They had a semi-decent run going for him. That was been a tough season for this 21 team so far, and doesn't look like that's going to change here today at Phoenix.
Now, okay, so 5 wide at Phoenix. That's a new one. And, well, it doesn't work. One car hits another. It's another, and it's all a bunch of mess. And then Roberto Crown Jr., they just completely wrecked themselves with Blaine Keys going into the final turn before the start-finish line on the way to the chute.
Yeah,
That was
a weird one because I was ahead of the wreck. I don't think there was anyone around Roberto who actually was involved in the accident. Tough break for him. I don't think they accumulated too much damage from that, but they're going to fall off. They're going to lose some positions there. Well, that was an interesting way to start the race. Let's go ahead and see what happens on the restart, though. Matt Tuck leading this field in the 54 ahead of Drew Webb and Christian Vargas. Let's see who gets the jump on the restart here. We're early on here in the Castrol 500k at Phoenix. We're back here at the Phoenix Raceway. Matt Tuck has led every lap so far after a multi-car accident there on lap number 4. But we just realized, Derek pointed out, the actual front stretch is where the start-finish line is, and then the longer part of the front stretch is the short chute. And then this is the back stretch, so... yeah, they completely messed that all up. Everybody's still in the race, though, after that accident, thankfully, so nothing messed up there in that regard. Matt Tuck is your race leader. Derek... oh, boy, I'm going to make this mistake, too. Drew Webb in the number 99. Christian Vargas in the 56. Braden Perez and Rogel Dorn, the top 5. Let's go ahead and get back to racing on lap number 9 of 78 here in the Castrol 500K. Drew Webb there trying to close in. Allier, the first driver to make a move. Perez on Vargas there. That is for the 3rd position.
And this caution was a very good break for all those drivers that were stuck on the outside lane, kind of falling back. Now they're all lined up. They'll have an opportunity to jump to the inside and be able to make up some of those spots back.
Absolutely. Alliera, Brady Mardi Gras. Alliera looks like she has a pretty fast car. And, of course, we started off the season with Blaine Keys winning the Smooth Fest, and then Alliera winning at Homestead and Daytona. So Dracoan Racing Enterprises, Owen Miles, they went 3 for 3 there to start off the season. Haven't seen as much of them lately, but Yera with a top 10 run right now as Matt Tuck continues to hold on. Perez will be able to get around Vargas. Here comes Rogel Dorn there for that 4th position on the number 57.
Dorn had a pretty good run there going down to 3 and 4 and now across the front stretch into the chute. Using that dog leg, that is a great strategy from driving the number 1 car, using entire track surface to his advantage.
Absolutely. This is a time of the race early on in the run where the tires are still relatively fresh where you want to do that. Of course, like I said, the further we get into the run, the harder it's going to be for these guys to make these passes as the tire wear is going to be significant. There's your driver, Brandon Thomas Trotzel to the inside of Laura Chung. That is for the 8th position. How about Luna Lona? She won the Sprint Series race on Wednesday, and here she is top 10. Those Sprint Series drivers were all up front in last week's race at Las Vegas. But none of them could actually get the race victory. But we got some more 4 wide as Chase Buck, Brady Mardi Gras, Nicholas Samadillo, and Sebastian Kukulon. 4 wide once again, but they keep it together. Samadillo going to get that advantage on the inside lane. But there's our last winner, Travis Crampton, who grabbed that race victory at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in a thrilling race there. We'll have to see if he can work his way through the field and work his way out of that hole he's dug in the point standings.
Not a good start for Crampton, Chase Buck went up the track right in front of Brady Mardi Gras. They're going to keep it together. It looked like they were going to get into the wall, but fortunately that did not happen. But like I was saying, Crampton really had a bad start to the season, but maybe the win at Vegas is going to be the start of a turnaround for Crampton.
We'll just have to see. NS Racing didn't start off on the right foot in the Cup Series, at least. They've been pretty good over in the Sprint Series with their assortment of drivers over there. But Crampton able to pull it off last week. He's right behind Joe Rakowski here. Those guys right around the 13th, 12th position right there. So Crampton in the top half of the field right now. Meanwhile, back up front, Drew Webb has closed back in on Matt Tuck, but Matt Tuck has this thing wired in. Now, when he took the race lead in the Napa 400 Auto Club, he never looked back, and he led every lap after that cycle of pit stops. Of course, he's led every lap so far here at Phoenix, but he's still going to have a cycle of pit stops to go through, and we'll just have to see how well that Grattan Autosport team can maneuver that cycle once we get to it later on in the race. These two guys, obviously the class of the field right now, they pulled away before that caution came out, and they're pulling away once again on this field.
They may as well be in another state at this point. Like, that is a good 2.5 gap. That may as well be 10.5 seconds at a track like Phoenix.
Let's see what Brady Perez can do. LJ Semedo making a move on Rogel Dorn there for the 4th position. Semedo had a good run at the Auto Club Speedway 2 weeks ago. And here comes Aliera as well. I feel like she's going to be a threat to win this championship with that team. Obviously, already 2 wins on the season, and running up front here at Phoenix top 10 right now. Vargas has been falling back in the 57. And number 57 of Christian Vargas restarted in the 3rd position, and now he's all the way back in 7th as Luna gets to the inside of him. Here comes Christian Master in the 43. Rutkowski there as well. And this is one of those places, even though it's difficult to make a pass here at the Phoenix Raceway, we still have comers and goers here, and especially in the mid-pack, you're going to see some of these guys kind of fall off as this run goes along.
Underneath the number 1 car is the 5 of Aliera, trying to get into the top 5. And the 45, a very impressive run for the Sprint Series driver, Luna, trying to get into the top 5 on their own, getting underneath the 57 of Christian Vargas, and behind them Christian Master and Thomas Troxler battling. Oh, the one slid up the track a bit in front of Vargas, and that's going to slow them both up, and maybe the 2 cars behind will have a chance at them as a result.
And Rokeldorn really overshot the corner right there, and Luna going to take advantage of that. She's now up to 6th for Trinity River Racing. Iera's trying to close in here on LJ Semedo. And Drew Webb kind of keeping with Matt Tuck. Now, Drew Webb doesn't need to make the pass for the race lead now. Of course, obviously, you want to see what your car can do, see if you're able to make that pass if you need to later on in the race. But if he stays right on the back bumper of this 54 heading down the pit lane, he can easily take the race lead away on the pit lane if this race stays green. Of course, a one-stop race that we're looking at, about a 40-lap fuel run if we stay green in this race. But Drew Webb doing all he can to stay right with that 54, but he doesn't need to be too aggressive, use up his stuff right now. So we'll have to see what he can do there for Titan Fury Racing. Well, he's going to have a good shot here, I feel like, on that outside lane. Matt took a little bit lower there, but a good run off the corner for Drew Webb. We'll have to see if he can cross back over on this 54 for the race lead. And we're going to close in on lap traffic here soon. Fisher G was involved in that accident, and he's running right in the last position right now. Everybody's still on the lead lap for now, but this could get interesting for the battle for the race lead when they try to get around this 37.
If I am the 54, I would be on the radio right now complaining and pitching one holy fit about that 37 being that slow and being in the racing line.
We'll just have to see here. This could get a little interesting. I don't think Fisher's as far off the pace in the corners, but he definitely slowed up Matt Tuck, and Drew Webb tried to put the bumper on him there. Matt Tuck had to take a more inside lane off the exit, and that's going to slow him down a little bit, but Drew Webb will also get around as well, so not much of an effect there on the battle for the race lead. How about Brayden Perez? Great run for him here, and Team Williams. 3rd place run for him right now, and Perez could definitely use a good run. He's 26th in the points, did not have a good day at Las Vegas last week, wrecked out in that one. LJ Semedo with a good run. Luna got around Aliera there. She's now top 5 on the 45 machine for Trinity River Racing. Of course, this is a great team. Seth Cole's been doing an excellent job this season in that number 82. I say that, Seth Cole's actually fallen quite a ways off the pace, actually. He's way off in that 82 machine. So the 45's doing a great job, but the 2 full-time cars for Trinity River Racing are not. They're both deep in the field at the end of the field. Looks like only 2 guys are off the pace. Andrew Miller there on the 88 is going to be the next guy these leaders come across. And then, of course, the number 37 of Fisher G off the pace as well.
Cars worked to their inside of the 37 of Fisher G. It really looked like Fisher was going to get more in the way of Matt Tuck because Drew Webb tried to go to the inside in turn 2, but there wasn't enough room for him, and now Fisher is going to get in the way of Thomas Troxel, and that's going to allow Echo Evans Ross by. Oh boy, the 57 and the it's not the 37, the 97 making contact in the middle of the corner. That got a little dicey there. But what you were saying earlier about Drew Webb not being able to pass Matt Tuck, that's kind of going back to what I said in the pre-race, where I feel like this race is going to be won in the pit lane, and I think that's going to be the key to passing the cars in front of you, especially if you're the 99 of Drew Webb. You've been right on the back of the 54, but haven't really had that much of a chance to get by him.
We're just going to have to see if Drew Webb can do some magic on the pit lane with his race team and possibly have a shot. He may get this race lead, though, beforehand. I think this 99 is faster. It's just a very difficult place to find a run on a driver. It's a one-groove racetrack, basically, and Drew Webb just not been able to find it. I will say, LJ Semedo looking really strong here in the 71. Luna was able to move up through the field very well there. And Aliera inside the top 10. Travis Crampton now up to 8th. He's running really quick. And Crampton was really quick at the end of the Las Vegas race. You know, he's showing a lot of speed right now here at Phoenix. And this is a team that I said last week, you know, that these guys could definitely kick it off here soon and really be a threat for the championship. I know they started off really poor in the number 98 team, but I think they're going to find a lot of speed here as the season goes along. And there you got another run right there to the inside of Rogaldorn. That 98 is flying right now. He's got the second fastest lap of the race, only behind our race leader, Matt Tuck, who is clearly one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now. But we're closing in. I'd say about 10 laps or so. We may start seeing some guys come down once they get to that halfway point of the race. I think these guys know they can make it to the end, and we might see some guys come down the pit lane.
Well, my question is, what was Fitzwater doing when he pitted earlier? Because I don't think he had any damage, did he?
He did not. A little bit of strategy there on that 9 team. Zachary Fitzwater came in, topped off on fuel. He's kind of midway through the field right now. He might be able to stretch it a little bit. He might be hoping for a caution during that cycle. Maybe inherit the race lead. Bit of an odd strategy. This isn't a track where these guys have difficulty coming off the pit lane or in the pit lane, but Fitzwater has not had a good year at all, and I'm sure he'd love to have something go his way finally here at the Phoenix Raceway. Crampton here on Yera. That 98 is really fast. We're going to get 6th now there for NS Racing. I don't know. Crampton might be a guy to watch out for the race win here at Phoenix.
Car has been very strong later in the run, and he's hoping to keep that momentum up as he challenged Ali Liera, but it looks like Liera got a better exit off the corner. That 99, I tell you what, that 99 has been right on the back bumper of Matt Tuck, and he might get another opportunity to pass Tuck because they're catching up on a slower car.
Andrew Miller here in the 88 machine just ahead of our 2 race leaders. Miller is going considerably faster than Fisher G did earlier. But that 99, I think this 99 is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, but he just doesn't have the run to get to this 54 quite yet, but he might have a shot here trying to get around the lap car of Andrew Miller. Miller in that 88 machine involved in that accident. It's not been a good season for him. It looks like these guys are going to actually get around him pretty easily as they enter turn at number 3. Oh, I don't know.
Webb, ooh, he slid up a little bit.
Oh, Webb's going to get held up a bit there. Not a ton, though. He's still on the bumper of Matt Tuck there.
And Matt Tuck had to exit off the inside there. Couldn't go all the way up to the wall like he wanted to, but again, not much of an effect there. It's not like we're at Daytona. I mean, these lap cars are going so much slower that it completely splits up the pack. It's a lot easier to get around lap cars here at Phoenix than it is Daytona, so thankfully these guys have not had too much of an issue here today in regards to that. How about LJ Cemento? This is Drew Webb's teammate of Titan Fury Racing, so those Dodges that Igor Bretto has worked up are running very quick here today at Phoenix. And this number 71 machine here, when they get to the inside of the 23, we are not quite halfway through this race yet. It'll be lap 39. Doing my math incorrectly. I almost said we were halfway, not quite. It's a little off today. Not sure what's going on. And we're kind of at the point of the run where it's very difficult to make a run on the driver ahead of you. These tires are worn out. Of course, these guys are definitely going to want to take tires when they come down the pit lane here in a few laps. Because these guys are a little bit off the pace right now compared to how they started. And Matt Tuck might be pulling away a little bit here from Drew Webb. That 99 may have used up his stuff trying to get around the 54.
Matt Tuck has gained about a 10th and a half in this from the last lap to this one so far, or the one that's currently on the leaderboard that we see.
We'll see what it is this time around for the driver, the number 54. He's led every lap so far, trying to get another bonus point for leading the most laps. If he gets to lap 39, continuing the lead, he will get that bonus point for leading the most laps. But it's not a guarantee that he's going to win this race because we still have that cycle of pit stops left to go. Look at this mess. Trying to get around Andrew Miller. Luna Lona has a shot on LJ Cemento. As they head down the backstretch, not going to be enough of a run, but Crampton has Yera there down the backstretch, and I think this 98 might be able to get it on the 5. Yera might actually get held up here by Andrew Miller and Travis Crampton. You know, a lot of these guys, they've been kind of stuck in their respective positions since the restart. Crampton has really worked through the field very well to get himself into the 6th position. And, I'd watch out for Crampton. He may go 2 in a row here, just like Yera did at the start of the season. You know, we're still very early on. These ratings have not come into effect too much yet, but we've already seen certain drivers kind of just dominate already, even though the ratings are still pretty equal between the teams. Matt Tuck here looking to get his second win of the season. And Travis Crampton, as a matter of fact, all three of the winners that we have had this season in the points-paying races are all running top 10 right now. Top 7, to be more specific.
This one car is going to try and look past the 5. That's Rogel Dorn in the one car. But, you know, it's very hard to make a pass right now. It looks like the 52, I think that's Sebastian Kukulon, is under fire from Christian Master in the 43. That's for the 9th position. And we got a few cars just outside the top 10. It'll be interesting to see who the first driver to pit is, because I feel like if you're going to be the first driver to pit, you're going to have a pretty solid advantage over some of the other cars that pit later. And we'll see if, like, maybe Drew Webb tries to dive in early and try and one-up the 54 of Matt Tuck.
We'll have to see. We're at that point now where if these guys come down the pit lane, they can make it to the end of the race. So I would imagine we'll be seeing some of these drivers come down here very shortly. Of course, we did have the caution period, so they don't have to pit for fuel quite yet. I don't know, no one coming down quite yet, so we'll just have to see. It's going to be very soon when these guys come down the pit lane and try to get the best advantage on the pit lane and have a shot at this race victory. Matt Tuck and Drew Webb once again getting around Fisher G. Fisher G going to go 2 laps down in the 37 as there's a huge gap right there. I'm wondering if the caution may have come out. Nope. They just have that much of a gap on the field right now. 4 seconds for Matt Tuck and Drew Webb here. Braden Perez must have gotten really loose or something and held these guys up because they lost a ton of ground to the race leaders.
Or maybe his tires are just done. I can guarantee you those Goodyear Eagles are screaming at this point, needing to be changed, but with that caution period, Matt Tuck may be pitting.
Not quite yet. He just kind of
ran
a lower line right there. We'll see if anybody else comes down right here. Yeah, that caution period definitely affected when these guys come down, but at any moment, these guys are going to start coming down the pit lane. You have Fitzwater. Remember, he did come down the pit lane right there. He's 26, so watch out for Fitzwater. He may stay out a little bit longer than the rest of these guys. Elijah Gordon, Brad Stover, Justin Zidell kind of all battling with him right there. Zidell led a lot of laps last week at Las Vegas, but he's not been having as good of a run here at Phoenix. Let's see here. Matt Tuck come down this time by not quite yet. They're still staying out there. I wonder if these guys are a little afraid of a caution coming out and them getting trapped a lap down.
Well, I mean, I think at this point, it's risk over reward. You stay out, you risk running out of fuel and losing the race. But if you pit, you also have to run the same risk, but higher reward.
I can tell you, I've had several times, especially last year, where one of my cars have come in early. And
there we go. LJ Cemento.
And here we
First
go.
to strike right there for Titan Fury Racing, and then your driver there, Echo Evans Ross, Nicholas Samadillo as well coming down, Laura Chung. A lot of guys in the back of the field here. This is going to be interesting. Sameto's kind of the marker right here to see how well these guys ended up doing, because he was top 5 when he came down the pit lane here, about 5 seconds off. They were losing a ton of ground there to Matt Tuck and Drew Webb. But I watch out for the 71 machine of LJ Cemento. He could be in a good position as we move on. Here comes Matt Tuck. Drew Webb's going to stay out. It will not be a wire-to-wire race for Matt Tuck. Had a wire-to-wire race on Wednesday in the Sprint Series. We've yet to have a pass for the race lead here at Phoenix all week. This is going to get interesting because Drew Webb staying out a little bit later. We'll have to see how they come into relation. We're going to follow here with the 54 of Matt Tuck, our race leader, see what he does on the pit lane. I would imagine it's going to be a 4-tire stop. You see LJ Cemento coming out on the pit lane right now with Echo Evans Ross and Nicholas Samadillo. And Matt Tuck has that first pit stall, so a little bit of an advantage for him right there. Drew Webb is only 2 pit stalls behind him right here. So lap 46 of 78. I imagine going to be a 4-tire stop here for the 54 of Matt Tuck.
Christian Vargas has come into the pit lane. You see him right behind, as well as his teammate Brady Mardi Gras. Tuck is out.
So the marker, LJ Cemento. Ooh, he's not anywhere near this 54 right here. There's Cemento. There's Matt Tuck. Now this 71 does have full steam ahead. He's already out there for a lap, so he's got those warm tires. Matt Tuck still on the cold tires. And Drew Webb now coming down the pit lane right here.
Does look like Cemento did gain on Tuck by pitting earlier, but not nearly enough to challenge him for the lead. Or
Trey Wright going to lead a lap right there. fascinating little statistic. He was involved in that accident, and he's going to get a bonus point towards the championship. Drew Webb here in the 99. I imagine it's going to be a 4-tire stop for him as well. We'll have to see if staying out later was an advantage for him. Here's Matt Tuck in the 54, who will be the provisional race leader. Or who is the provisional race leader, and will be the race leader more than likely once this is all said and done. There's Drew Webb in the 99. It's going to be a little tight, but Matt Tuck's still going to get out ahead. So now the question is, will the 99 or the 71 close in and have a shot at the race lead in these last 30 laps?
Webb really went up the racetrack in 1 and 2. That's going to hurt him significantly, and you can see the gap. That's what pitting earlier does. Webb, I think, waited too long on those older tires, but now he's going to have fresher tires than Matt Tuck, so what he's hoping is that he can gain all that position back, but I just think track position is more important at a track like this. And now, behind him, he's got the 71 of LJ Semedo, who's trying to take second from him, and he's going to get to the inside of him.
I'm sure Igor Breto's very proud of his 2 drivers running top 5 all day. I'm sure he's holding his breath right now, making sure these guys don't get into each other. Semedo going to be able to clear there for the second position. That 71 looking pretty fast. We'll see if he gained any time on Matt Tuck. He did not. Matt Tuck flying out there on that 54 machine.
He was also side-by-side with his teammate trying to pass him, so that probably hindered his lap time.
Luna is 4th right now in this 45. She's doing an excellent job there. Braden Perez, and there's your driver, Derek Echo Evans-Ross. Great season for her in her rookie campaign. 5th in the points, and right now running in the 6th position. Definitely a championship contender the way things are looking right now. And here she is there in 6th. Sebastian Kukulon, Nicholas Amedeo, and then Travis Crampton there inside the top 10 with Joe Rutkowski inside the top 10 right now there in the 74.
You know, I've been in a lot of leagues with Echo Evans-Ross, and I don't think that there has been a season yet where she has not been a championship contender. She's great just about everywhere, and it's carrying over here.
Absolutely. Great run for this Toyota driver and Derek Campbell's team.
It's so weird to see a 39 of something that I own. Jeez.
The last minute change.
Custom, a little custom scheme right here. Pulled a few strings for it, but she's been doing an excellent job in this 39, and looking to add to your over 30 win total on the channel, Derek. You've got a lot
Battle
of them.
for third.
Oh yeah, Luna, the Sprint Series driver.
Drew
Felt
Webb.
one for them.
Just a little bit off the pace, I think, from when we had the cycle of pit stops right there. He was starting to fall off just a little bit from Matt Tuck, and it's 99. He actually has a bit of a run on his teammate LJ Semedo once again. I'm wondering, we're at a point now where I think we may need to get a caution for somebody other than Matt Tuck to go to victory lane, but this is the points leader here on the 5th race of the season, nearly going wire to wire at this point here at Phoenix, and that might be a cause for concern for the rest of the garage here in the Wawa Cup Series. Because that number 54 Ground Autosport, they're going to be hard to beat if this is what it's going to be like for the rest of the year. These guys kind of all on each other now. LJ Semedo kind of holding these guys up. Drew Webb might be finding his speed again. 45 there of Luna Lona. Great run for her. Braden Perez and Echo Evans-Ross all on each other here from 2nd to 6th. And they're not closing in on Matt Tuck, who's got a clean track ahead of him and nobody racing alongside him.
They did close in a little bit that last lap, but I don't think it's going to be significant enough for them to catch up to the 54. Maybe there is a lap car up ahead of the 54. Maybe the lap car could end up getting in his way. The 55 will playing keys. And I do want to make a point about lap cars because I don't think just because they're faster means that they're less of a threat. I actually think if they're faster, then they can cause more problem for the leader because they can start battling them and getting in their way that way. And that's a lot more significant than just holding them up in the corner.
Absolutely. We could see that if Matt Tuck closes in. Drew Webb trying to take that 2nd position back away from LJ Semedo. You can kind of tell these guys just bottled up right behind that 71. I'm sure this 99 feels like he has the speed to get to Matt Tuck and possibly have a threat for the race win. Perez on Luna Lona there. That is for the 4th position. But Drew Webb looking to clear LJ Semedo. He's going to lose a little bit of time trying to clear the 71, but if he can clear, he might have a shot to get to the back bumper of this 54. Still over 20 laps to go here. And this is where we're going to kind of notice the longevity of these races a little bit. Of course, 25% length compared to 20% that we used to do in the past, so 78 laps here at Phoenix, so a little bit longer than it has been in the past. And we'll just have to see how that extra length affects the outcome of this race. Fisher G once again. He's going to go 3 laps down when he gets passed by Matt Tuck here in probably a lap's time.
44.
Daniel Paulus Jr. also had an issue. He's 4 laps down in the 44.
I saw him stalled in the pit lane for a long time. So what I think happened is he got in at an awkward spot, and they weren't able to pit the car, and he ended up getting towed. And, you know, when you're getting towed back to your pit stall from the pit stall, that's the longest tow that can possibly happen in this game. So I think that's what ended up happening.
A tough break there for the rookie driver. He is back out there, I do believe, in the 44 machine, albeit in the last position.
Hey, maybe there will be a wreck or an engine failure, and he'll be able to gain some spots off of that. You never know.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. Everybody's still out there on the racetrack here. It's been a clean race since that lap 5 accident. Blaine Keys and Andrew Miller. Blaine Keys able to get around the 88 machine there of Andrew Miller, and Matt Tuck's going to get around Miller again. Chris Webb's going to have to get around Fisher G right here. Braden Perez up to 3rd in the 23 machine. And True Webb's going to have a shot here to the inside of the 37 machine for, well, not
Where's
for
the
position.
45?
Where's the 45?
Yeah, you're right. Luna Lona in the 45.
Where'd they go?
Oh, no!
Stalled on the track.
Blow it
She
up!
blew up.
And the caution's back out here at Phoenix.
Oh, wow!
Well, that changes everything.
What a turn of events, but a tough break for Luna Lona, having an incredible run today.
Absolutely. Tough break for him in that 35 machine, or 45 machine. Man, I'm really off today. I don't know what the deal is.
I think it's because I'm up here.
I don't know. Maybe it is. I mean that in a good way. And, well, just like you were saying, Brendan, Daniel Paulus Jr. will not finish last year today because Luna Lona is out of the race. Such a tough break for... Granted, she's not going for the championship here in the Cup Series, so not much is lost, but an opportunity at a possible race victory. If we had a caution, she could have had a shot. Well, that is exactly what Drew Webb wanted. He's going to be right on the back bumper of Matt Tuck for this restart. Braden Perez, LJ Semedo, and Echo Evans Ross, the top 5 now. So the 45 has blown an engine or something along those lines. We'll officially see a gearbox issue officially on Luna Lona right there.
Another problem.
And now Joey Hightower, oh my goodness, Hightower just cannot catch a break this season in that 24. Got wrecked out at Las Vegas, got wrecked out at Homestead. He probably got wrecked out at Daytona. Half the field got wrecked out there. And
no smoke, though, so this doesn't seem like a terminal issue on the 24.
Yeah, this could be a tire issue on the 24 Trackhouse Racing machine.
What's the 47 doing? No! Don't do that.
May just be
fine.
reacting to Hightower there,
Yeah.
I think Dylan Matthews is fine man, that 47 machine. Oh, Brennan, yikes.
Yeah.
19th to 20th.
Okay.
Actually, it'll be 18th to 20th. So
That's
actually
not-
midway through the field. Not too bad.
That's not terrible, no.
Because both drivers have been doing a pretty good job. Troxel 7th in the points coming in this race. Chase Buck 14th in the points. Still early on in the season. I feel like you guys are going to have a good campaign this year.
I do want to point out something. Drew Webb is not only going to be behind Matt Tuck, he's going to be behind Matt Tuck with fresher tires.
Just by a lap. We'll have to see if that comes into effect. That 99 is really the only guy who's been able to actually keep up with that 54 all race, so we'll just have to see. Matt Tuck going for his second win of the season here for Stuart Grattan, his owner, trying to extend his points lead heading into Rockingham next weekend. It's a huge opportunity for him. Let's go ahead and see what happened real quick to Luna Lona, then we'll get back to the restart here in the Castrol 500k at the Phoenix Raceway.
So going through turns 3 and 4, Luna Lona's just minding her own business, and then bam! Right after the start-finish line, lap 59, right in front of the 39 of Echo Evans Ross, and Luna Lona's day goes up in smoke, running inside the top 5, having a very impressive run. You hate to see it.
Yeah, and that's going to bring out the caution here. This is going to change the entire complexion of this race because Matt Tuck does not have his 2-second lead anymore on Drew Webb. Tough day for Trinity River Racing, and although Luna Lona does not affect the Cup Series owners' points as a Sprint Series car, the other 2 cars for Trinity River Racing and Josh's team have not been doing too well either. They could have actually avoided the yellow, I feel like.
I mean, there might have been oil on the track.
Yeah, there could have been. But this is a computer game, so...
Yeah, we're giving it too much
A
credit.
little contact there between Rutkowski and Laura Chung on the cooldown lap. Interesting there. Well, this is going to get interesting. Everyone's got their fuel. Everyone's got their tires. We're good to go to the end. Let's see what happens on the restart with Matt Tuck leading here in the Castrol 500k. And we are back here at the Phoenix Raceway. Bit of a surprise caution right there as Luna Lona with a gearbox issue bringing out our second caution of the day. Matt Tuck has virtually led every single lap here at Phoenix, but Drew Webb, I smell the blood in the water right there. I think he's going to have an opportunity at getting around this 54 machine for this race victory. We'll just have to see. Braden Perez, LJ Cimento, Fisher G multiple laps down, a bit off the pace. So we could see a 4-car breakaway as Echo Evans Ross, she is running there in the 5th position. Pace car down the pit lane, only driver out of the race, or 2 drivers out of the race. Joey Hightower with a suspension issue, so it was a terminal issue for the 24. And then Luna Lona in the 45 also with a gearbox issue. Everybody else still on the racetrack. 35 drivers on the lead lap. Here we go. Back underway at Phoenix, and my goodness.
That 37 should be in the garage. Jeez.
Absolutely. This could be a caution. As for the race lead, Drew Webb.
Oh, Drew Webb.
But he slid it up the racetrack, and Braden Perez looking to steal this one away.
Webb's gonna clear Tuck, it looks like. Nope, they're still side by side.
Tuck trying to work this outside lane to his advantage, but Drew Webb, like you mentioned, Brennan, slightly fresher tires. He's not going to quite clear them yet, but Drew Webb's going to lead that lap. And a great opportunity for Drew Webb to get his first career win on the channel. It looks like they survived Fisher G back in there. Braden Perez going to put the bumper to the 54 and try to take second away. How about these dodges? 3 of them in the top 4 right now here at Phoenix.
This kind of reminds me of one of the earlier Phoenix races in the NR2003 Cup Series where Nelson Reeves dominated the race, but he got passed by Matt Dallio at the end.
Yeah, that would have been the last Phoenix race we had here in the Cup Series 2 years ago in 2021. And what was season 10 of that? No, that was a very similar thing. Now, you got to give credit to Drew Webb, though. He was up there pretty much this entire race. He's kind of earned this one, and Matt Tuck, that's got to hurt for him. Still running third, still with an opportunity, but with how difficult it is to make moves on this racetrack, that might have been his opportunity. As the caution's back out again, he's going to get another opportunity.
Oh,
Who was it this time? I think it was Troxel. Yeah, Troxel was running.
And
Troxel and Fitzy there in the 9. Yeah, Fitzwater, I feel so bad for him. It has been such a tough season for Fitzwater. 35th in the points coming into this race. You know, most legendary driver in NR All Flying Racing. It has been anything but legendary for him this season in that number 9 machine. Well, I'm looking at Perez now, and Echo Evans Ross was also going really fast there in that 39.
Got held up by Fisher G on the restart, and she still caught back up to the top 4.
Able to get around LJ Cimento, and Derek with his maniacal laugh here. You got something up your sleeve there in that 39, don't you?
There's a plan.
The plan. What is the plan? We'll just have to see. Got to give a huge hit out to Italian Fury Racing. They're still both in the top 5, both of their drivers. Appalachian Motorsports doing well. Nicholas Samadeo, he's second in the points. You know, he actually might be eyeing Matt Tuck for this points lead once this race is all said and done, as Tuck is only 3 positions ahead of him right there. Great run for Christian Master in the 43 machine. Of course, Master has been having a great season so far as well. Joe Rutkowski. You know, Luna Lona was a Sprint Series driver, so is Rutkowski, and here he is for Appalachian Motorsports and Caleb Rose. Teammates are Nicholas Samadeo, running in the top 10. Crampton and Yera, they've both won the 2.5-mile racetracks we've had this season, and they're both top 10 as well. Let's go ahead and see what happened to Thomas Troxel in the 62. That may be it for him in the 62 machine, unfortunately. And we'll get to our 3rd restart of the day here in the Castrol 500k at Phoenix. Well, Thomas Troxel not actually involved in this accident. He had a mechanical issue on the restart. Trey Wright just had a talent issue on this one here. Got in the Fitzwater and sent the 9 into the outside wall. It's been a tough break for Fitzwater this entire season. He's not been able to catch a break yet. Fisher G got a bit of that one as well, but Troxel was already off the pace from the mechanical issue, and Brendan was saying he may have dropped a cylinder there on the restart. But it's going to set up another restart here for us here at the Phoenix Raceway, but we'll go ahead and replay this one more time before we get to that restart here in the Castrol 500k.
Well, this is something I see quite often. Well, the 28 Trey Wright, no talent, no spatial awareness, drives into Fitzwater, gets a concussion in the process by hitting the wall with his rear end. Keeps it going, though, so he must be all right, I guess.
Hey, it's a video game. We always say no injuries here in the Wawa Cup Series. Now, he may get a concussion from slamming his head on his desk from watching that. It's an old joke we used to use a lot. Well, now, this whole race can go to anybody after what we saw right there. Drew Webb taking it away there from Matt Tuck on that restart. And Matt Tuck, I'm sure he's fuming after that one. He wants to get this one back. And watch out for Braden Perez, a great restart for him on that last time. He might have a shot at this race victory as well. Let's get to the restart here. Hopefully be our final one here in the Castrol 500k at Phoenix. Oh, the tables have turned here at Phoenix. We thought Matt Tuck was going to dominate this race here in the Castrol 500k. We had the caution. Drew Webb with a great restart last time around. Well, now he's going to have to fend off these guys behind him for this race victory. We will restart with 7 laps to go. So we're still not quite at the point of no return yet. So if we get another caution real quick, we'll have another restart. But Drew Webb out front in the 99 machine. Braden Perez is second. Matt Tuck, Echo Evans Ross, LJ Sameto, Nicholas Samadillo, Christian Master, Joe Rutkowski, Travis Crampton, and Ali Yera, the top 10. And out of the race so far. Trox was able to get back out there after that accident. So no new entries to the garage here at Phoenix. Here we go. 7 laps to go in the Castrol 500k. Got ourselves a good one here. Drew Webb trying to get the jump on the start, but Braden Perez going to be right there with an opportunity. They're all on this 99.
99 did not get going that well on the restart.
There we go.
Comes Perez to the inside.
Braden Perez trying to get his first career win on the channel. He's got the nose to the inside. Matt Tuck trying to take second back away. And Tuck still has an opportunity. Oh, he's going to go 3 wide.
Oh,
and he's going to be able to make it work as well. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold the inside, though. Perez going to lead this lap. Don't count out the 39 or the 71 behind there either. 6 laps to go here at Phoenix for Braden Perez.
Webb trying to get the run on the outside through 1 and 2. Not going to be able to do it. Tuck's going to slide to the inside in second. He can still win this race. But if these two battle each other too much, Perez can pull ahead and he'll be sitting pretty up in the lead.
Single file now. He's got his opportunity to clear out ahead. Braden Perez leading this field late in the going, and the caution back out again. Ali Yera getting dumped in the 5. Oh, that's a tough break for her right there. She was running top 10, and she got sent around. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have one more. I think. Ooh, I don't know.
What's the point of no return?
I think it's 5 laps. That's what we got right now. We may
We're
not
going to have ourselves
one.
a 1-lap shootout. I think if my math is right, this is going to be a 1-lap shootout.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be a 1-lap shootout here to finish this one out, because I think it's a 4-lap caution.
Oh, boy.
And obviously they caught it right there. That pace car was driving fast to get up to the front of the field so we can have a restart in this race. I'm hoping we do. Get ourselves a good finish here. This could be very interesting. I mean, look at what Matt Tuck did on the last restart. He went 3 wide there in the turn number 3. He could have pulled that off if he had enough grip. That's such a tough break for Ali Yera. You know, she started off the season so well, and then since Daytona, it's just been kind of a mid-season for her. And she had a good run going, and now down in the 34th position. And we went so long without any wrecks, and in 3 cautions, one right after another. They say cautions breed cautions. That's exactly what's happened here. 4 to go at the line. We'll go ahead and quickly replay what happens at Ali Yera, and then we'll get to the restart. It'll be the last restart. Hopefully we'll get to the restart. And if we do get it, it'll be the last restart of the day here in the Castrol 500k. Just like Roberto Crown Jr. earlier on. Ali Yera in the 5 for the bit of a different entry speed than Sebastian Kukulon there. And Kukulon kind of getting into her right rear and sending the 5 around. Thankfully, this was about it. I don't think anyone else got caught up in this one, but enough to throw the yellow out right here at the end of this race. And we will, in fact, have a 1-lap dash to the finish to end this one here at Phoenix. So we will get a green flag finish here in this Castrol 500k. That's such a tough break for both of those guys. I mean, Kukulon had a great run going for him as well in the 52, and Ali Yera there in the 5 getting spun around after running top 10. She's going to fall a little bit further in the points after winning the first 2 races of the season.
Well, going into the corner, kind of similar to what Ali's teammate did to Roberto Crown Jr. earlier. Singtel went a little too fast in the corner, and Kukulon ends up going into Ali Liera. And there you see the 18
Chris Reynolds
get into the back of the 5 as she was sliding down the racetrack, causing more damage to Ali's car. But, that's a tough break.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Liera's going to be out of this one in the 5. Because she was shown out of the race after this one once we got back. So, speaking of going back, a little bit of contact there with Fisher G. I think, man, that may have actually been what took her out. We'll just have to see. Either way, 1 lap to go. Braden Perez, Drew Webb, Matt Tuck, Echo Evans Ross, and LJ Semedo. I feel like any of those 5 can get the race victory. We're just going to have to see how it all goes down. 1 lap to go on the Castrol 500k here at Phoenix in the Wawa Cup Series. We're in store for a good one. Here we go, 1 lap to go. A 1-lap dash to finish this race out at Phoenix. Did we think we were going to see this after the 50-lap green flag run that we had? 4 cautions in this race here today. And Braden Perez may steal this one. Now, Perez is another driver who has been up front quite a bit in this race for Team Williams. A great opportunity for his first career win. A great opportunity for Drew Webb. And Matt Tuck, I know he wants this one. He went 3 wide on that last restart. We'll have to see what he can do. Oh, no!
Oh, he blows up.
He blows up.
The green.
You are kidding me?
Oh, my goodness.
This is going to be
We are not scripting
restart.
this one, folks. If they take this green flag, we're still going to have a finish. Matt Tuck is blown up.
He's still going to try and drive it, though.
He's going to try, but he's not going to go anywhere. Here we go.
Green flag.
Will Drew Webb get it? Will Echo Evans Ross get it here? Braden Perez going to try to hold these guys off. Matt Tuck's going to fall deep in the field after dominating this race. And a great run there for Perez as Echo Evans Ross goes for second on Drew Webb. And this right here might do it. Going into turn number 3 for the last time. Braden Perez and Andrew Williams are going to steal it here in the Castrol 500k. How about that?
Webb second, Echo third. Wow.
What a dramatic ending to what was kind of a mundane race up till that second caution, but it went off the rails as soon as that happened.
Absolutely off the rails at the end. Matt Tuck. Oh my goodness. You know, there's a good chance that may have ended up happening regardless, but wow, what happened there? We were going, it was such a calm race to start off, and then all of a sudden, everything just hit the fan at the end. Braden Perez pulls it off here at Phoenix. He definitely stole that one away from Matt Tuck and Drew Webb, but a great job by that Team Williams organization to pull it off here today. My goodness. What on earth? What on earth happened there?
I'm at a loss for words.
It's been a long time since I've seen a car blow up as they were taking the restart. That rarely ever happens.
And the
what are the
unfortunate
odds?
thing for Matt Tuck, he's going to lose out on the points. I think our new points leader is going to be Nicholas Sambadio. Sambadio was just kind of quietly, up there and finished 6th. I'd watch out for Sambadio this season. Those guys going to have something go their way. Matt Tuck finishes 33rd officially, and Aliera failed to finish. It's just all over the place. He did officially finish, but he was going to finish top 3. Wow, that's a tough pill to swallow for that Grattan Autosport organization there. And I think this is one of those tracks, oddly enough, where reliability is a bit of an issue. I mean, like you were mentioning, Brennan, I think it was under one of the breaks, this is such a flat track that has so many different types of turns and all that. A lot of wear and tear on these machines, and I think we definitely saw that come into effect near the end of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. The cars really started kind of having a lot of mechanical problems at the end. We saw 3 or 4 of them there after that second caution, or I guess the first one caused the second caution, but still, regardless. A lot of mechanical failures. I think Echo Evans Ross, Nicholas Sambadio are definitely going to be the big winners in terms of the points. Echo finishing 3rd, Nicholas finishing 6th. Echo came into this race 5th, and Sambadio was 2nd, so they might be 1-2 exiting this race, considering the issues with Matt Tuck and Aliera, and then Seth Cole finishing 19th, which isn't terrible, but probably going to get passed by Echo behind him.
Yeah, and Derek, your team actually did pretty well there. Echo Evans Ross there in 3rd, Dylan Matthews in 14th. But reliability a big issue in this race. You guys didn't have any issues, but are you concerned going forward in some of these other tracks? We're going to New Hampshire this year, going to Gateway. Do you think we'll see similar issues at those tracks later on in the season?
Well, we got the Magic Mile, we got Miracle Mile with the Gateway and New Hampshire, and both are very similar to this interesting little race course. But I don't think there should be a big issue with reliability going forward. I think this is just a one-time thing. It's the desert. It's hot,
73 degrees.
Okay, it's cold.
It says so, right? You guys can't see that because they got the new graphics up, but it does say 73 degrees is the weather here, so it wasn't that hot, so I don't know if that was an issue. Hey, it's all just a video game. We all like to speculate, but the computer likes to play tricks on us sometimes, and played some tricks on Matt Tuck and Luna Lona here today especially, and Joey Hightower, all kind of failing to finish because of their issues. Well, yeah, just a tough one for all those guys in the back. What a race. That was all over the place, and a very entertaining one here at Phoenix. No doubt about it. Well, upcoming here on the channel, we got Willow Springs and IndyCar on Monday night. Definitely looking forward to that one in the Grand Prix of California. Should have Mike up in the booth for that one. And then next weekend, it is the Cheerwine 400, another mile-long racetrack. From 1 mile long to another mile long, but a completely different mile-long racetrack at The Rock. That is a much more fast-paced racetrack than this one here, and always a great one at The Rock, and I think we're going to have another great one. I think the Sprint Series will also be great on Wednesday night as well, so looking forward to the 6th race of the season at the Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina. And yeah, lots of great stuff coming up here. Coda's 2 weeks from now. That's going to be a fun race. I'm intrigued to see how that one's going to go because the pit stops are really going to affect who wins that one. Lots of good races coming up here in the Wawa Cup Series. Well, hey, thank you so much, Brennan and Derek, for joining me. It's been a long time since we've done this together, and hopefully you'll hear these guys in the booth more throughout the season. And, yeah, Braden Perez pulls it off here at Phoenix, stealing that win here in the Castrol 500k. That one came out of nowhere, but I'm sure he's going to celebrate that one pretty hard. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Here are the point standings for the Wawa Cup Series after 5 points paying races. And we'll see you guys next weekend at the Rockingham Speedway for the Cheerwine 400. On behalf of Brendan Wilmington and Derek Hamill, congratulations to Braden Perez for getting the race victory here at Phoenix, and I will see you guys later.